And the death toll is climbing in Syria and Turkey 1 week after deadly earthquakes hit both countries.
Yeah, at least 36,000 people now confirmed dead, thousands still unaccounted for in the rubble there as rescue crews continue to sift and search for survivors. But in some cases, there are signs of life even now, more than a week after. And this video that you're looking at here shows the rescue of a 13-year-old being pulled from the toppled buildings there in Turkey 7 full days after the earthquake first hit. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab joins us now from Hatay, Turkey, where the recovery efforts are ongoing. Imtiaz, welcome. Good evening. The overnight hours, it is where you are. More than 100 arrest warrants. This is the news right now, right? Issued in Turkey in connection to the buildings that collapsed in Monday's earthquake. They're arresting contractors, but of course, those contractors had paperwork saying you can build. So what's really going on here?
Tony, Lilia, good to be with you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Amidst all this sorrow, misery, and destruction, we have this scandal that is brewing. As you rightly point out, around 100 arrest warrants have been issued for building contractors. We understand that around 12 have already been arrested over allegations they were essentially involved in shoddy construction practices. And so there's a lot of attention being focused on just how badly the buildings were built here in Turkey. Here in Hatay, nearly every single building has come down. Certainly none of them are habitable. And so it does raise a lot of questions about just how well these buildings were built. But many here are also saying that the government is using these arrests as a way to deflect blame from itself. A few years ago, the party that the president belongs to, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the AK party, pushed through legislation which essentially saw an amnesty for around 400,000 building code violations around the country. An amnesty. It was wildly popular at the time. It meant that however badly a building was constructed, it was allowed to stand the way it was. And many people are saying that had that amnesty not passed and these buildings were constructed to code, that they would not have come down. These people would not have lost their lives, and this would be a very different situation on the ground here. Many questions are being asked of this government, and they have not been answering them. Tony, Lilia.
MTS, just a situation, the numbers are horrible. Other than the tens of thousands who've died, there's 1 million people who are in shelters. Can you walk us through what you've seen on the ground there in Hatay?
It's mind-boggling. I struggle to find words every single day to describe what we've been seeing, just the state of this country. You know, I know Turkey reasonably well. I've spent a lot of time in this area, particularly in areas like Gaziantep, also badly devastated. And to see it now in this state, just in ruins, is heartbreaking. And again, just almost impossible to describe just how horrible it is for the people who are survived. They are stunned, they are traumatized, but they are also angry at their leaders for all of the things that we've just discussed. But when it comes to the recovery effort, just today the United Nations has announced that that part of their job has ended effectively today, and they are now going to be focusing purely on humanitarian needs, which of course is food, water, medical supplies, and indeed psychological help as well. But I also want to tell you very quickly about a place that we visited earlier today. We traveled just outside of Hatay into the rural parts of this area, and there is no help there whatsoever. And many of the people in these rural towns and villages say they've been forgotten. But they directed us to an area that they said that we needed to see. They said it was an area that was badly damaged by the earthquake. And so we went there. And it really took my breath away. You know, we were expecting to see, you know, maybe a crack in the ground or something like that. But what we saw was a canyon. The force of this 7.8 magnitude earthquake tore this land apart, and it was maybe 3 miles wide. Wow. This was once a sleepy olive grove and just torn wide open. And we just couldn't believe what we were seeing. But really, when you think about it, if that's what the earthquake could do to this fertile farmland, the devastation we've been seeing across huge segments of Turkey and Syria perhaps makes a lot of sense. And then when you add the fact that we have these badly constructed buildings, the fact that there was this amnesty when it came to building code violations, it feels as if this was a perfect storm of devastation. And it's the people of Turkey and Syria who are really paying for it. Tony, Lilia.
And you bring up such an important point that, we see cities like Gaziantep that have the infrastructure and have the resources, and they're still struggling. I can't imagine those rural areas. Imtiaz Tyab, thank you so much.
So let's bring in Ismail Alabdullah, who is a volunteer with the White Helmets, a nonprofit you've probably heard of before, a group on the ground in Syria doing heroic work and has done so in other situations as well. Ismail, could you just tell us, you're on the ground there, what is the situation 1 week or more now after the earthquakes initially hit?
After 1 week of the powerful earthquake that hit with northwest Syria, the situation now getting worse after we finished or stopped looking for survivors, and now we operating to retrieve the dead bodies after almost a week and over 1 week. Until now, the death toll is increasing. We recorded 2,169, and the injured people now more than 3,000 people. Thousands of people lost their houses. Thousands of families affected by the powerful earthquake. We still have hope. We still have hope, and we will complete our work, and we'll do our best to get the last one who now he is trapped under the rubble.
And Ismail, what would you say are the biggest problems that you're finding in the search and recovery efforts?
The major difficulties that we have faced since the earthquake, first thing, the aftershocks that threaten our work from the very beginning, and the lack of equipment, the specialized equipment. I'm talking here about search and rescue equipment that may give us the possibility to locate those who are trapped under the rubble. Heavy equipment to remove the largest scale of the rubble, and this is one of the major difficulties, because in the coming days we'll move to another stage, removing the rubble from all the cities and villages that now still the biggest scale of rubble, and opening the roads to help people to recover from the impacts of the earthquake, and for those who are the injured people who now suffer from the lack of the medical supplies, and now they need shelter, need food kits, need hygiene kits, even drinkable water.
Ismail, what kind of assistance, if you could wave a magic wand, what do you need to help your work?
First, from the very beginning, we appealed for help from everyone. That we need help to save our people, to save those who were trapped under the rubble. But after the assistance and the help, now we haven't received it, and we still have just the promises that they will support us in our work. We still need those equipment. May they help us, as I said, to remove the rubble, and to get those who are now trapped beneath the rubble.
Ismail Alabdullah, thank you very much of the Syrian White Helmets. Thank you for your work, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.